Anytime you're ready.
Okay. Uh, Basically, I've loved to do art my whole life, really enjoyed it, and but decided pretty early on in my 20s that I wanted to go do something reasonable because I got afraid of the possibility that art might not be as lucrative as I wanted to be, and so I decided to go into the police department and to do that reasonable thing, that respectable job that everybody thought, well, that's a good, solid kind of thing in retirement and all that kind of deal. And so I did that, and I was good at it. I did it for 15 years. Near the end of it, that art calling just kept coming back in my mind. And I turned 40. I'd done 15 years on the police department. I was a lieutenant. I had all the stuff that somebody outside of my job could have wanted, but I just wasn't happy. And I wasn't happy because I wasn't doing the one thing that I really wanted to do with my whole life. So I thought, well, you can keep doing this job for another 25 years and say, I wish I could have, wouldn't it be nice if what would have happened if I would have tried to go for my dream or whatever, or I can just stop everything right now, take early retirement, and just move to California from Texas and totally make 100% go of it. No plan B. You either succeed at doing this whole thing or you don't. So I poured all my attention into it. As soon as I moved to California, got my studio set up, bought a new computer and the Cintiq and all that stuff, and went straight into schoolism at that point. The first thing I hit was Alvin Lee's comic book portfolio class. That's what I was originally going for, was comics, and using that, I put together a portfolio that was received really well at Emerald City. About 9 months after that, I went to Emerald City and got some good response. CB Cebulski liked my stuff and sent me back with some test scripts. And then while I was working on those, I stumbled onto a job with Hasbro, sent my portfolio to a guy who was playing World of Warcraft, and I was healing for a group, and this guy said, you know, we were talking about art and whatever, and I expressed that I was really interested in Star Wars, and he said, well, what would you rather do? Would you rather be painting Star Wars, or would you rather be doing comics? And I said, well, in my heart of hearts, I'd probably rather be doing Star Wars. He said, well, that's good, because I'm like one of the creative directors for Star Wars Hasbro. Like, he says, do you have a portfolio? And I said, well, yeah, because I had done the work already. Do you have a portfolio that you can show me? I said, sure. I said, give me a week to add some Star Wars to it. In 3 days, I had it all done, sent it off to him. In an hour, they sent me back a response and said they liked it. 30 minutes after that, they sent me a contract. I immediately read it and signed off on it, sent it back. 45 minutes after that, they sent me the return, and I was working for Hasbro. So I worked for Star Wars on one of their larger products, and it's not even out on the shelf yet. I still haven't seen it. I checked. It's not there yet. But worked for them for a while, and then when that closed out, got some stuff for Nerf. So I've done a couple of things for Nerf, and it's been great. I mean, it's been really neat. It's that first thing, that first great job. But I would not have been able to do that if it hadn't been for the schoolism. So if I started with the comic book, and then I took Andrew Howe's digital painting because I wanted to move into the painting side. I was doing just line work. And then I took your class, I took Bobby's class for digital painting, and then I took Seiler's class for caricature because I felt that my faces were too rigid and too adhering to the anatomy and weren't really doing what I wanted. And then I took Wu's gesture drawing to kind of loosen up my figures and stuff as well, and to keep getting those jobs. And then the Hasbro stuff kind of started to dry up about 6 months ago, and I didn't want to just sit around waiting for somebody else to find me online. I was kind of hunting around and couldn't really get any good responses. So I decided to start my own thing, just to start with my own idea. So that's why I created Pixel Figs, which are these virtual online gaming miniatures. So I paint them at a really high resolution, these top-down monsters for people to play in these online tabletops where essentially they can play Dungeons and Dragons or some other role-playing game, science fiction, horror, whatever, on these online tabletops and kind of move these virtual figures around. Well, I paint those, so that's what I'm doing is Pixel Figs to do that. And I would not have had the skill and ability to put all that together if it weren't for schoolism, because I did not go to art school. I went and did the respectable thing and got my government job and all of that kind of stuff, so I needed to play catch-up really fast because there are a lot of kids who have gone to art school and really kick in a lot of butt everywhere, and I needed something that would get me onto their level, at least onto that playing field. And schoolism absolutely did that for me, no question. I was able to sit there and take those classes and just really push through and eat that material up, internalize it, and then really make use of that in the work.
So how long has it been since you quit the job in Texas?
Just a little over 2 years.
Wow.
Just a little over 2 years. I got my little nibble with Marvel like 9 months in, and I got the Hasbro job right after that. So within 12 months of moving out here with no prospects whatsoever, I'm like getting stuff like emails from Lucas, not Lucas himself, but Lucas's people through Hasbro, going back and forth, talking about the designs for these various characters and the other stuff that they needed done for the job. So I mean, there I was, just like 12 months later, just sitting there thinking, I just got an email, all my artwork got approved, from Lucas for this or that or the other. So it was pretty amazing. I went from sitting at a desk looking at 20 years to retirement or 20 years more of work at government, sitting behind that desk, wondering how my life might have been if I had made the big jump. And then there I was sitting there actually, painting stuff that, Star Wars. I mean, who doesn't love that, right?
A lot of people, they think, they might be too old to start. And you started...
I was 40.
Wow.
I was 40 when I made the switch. I'm 42 now. It came to the point where I realized that my ability to stick with the material, not be distracted, and use the skills that I had as a supervisor and a manager and police and that kind of work to kind of just stick to it and get the work done is what put me over the top, Mm-hmm. Being able to just kind of talk to people and just do the work, just be hard about the work. I'm not worried about going out and I think sometimes maybe younger artists are thinking about a lot more like social things, this, that, or the other, but I was already settled, I think what it really came down to, though, all that aside, is I'm sitting there at 40 thinking, do I want to be 65 and have a really awesome, like this supposedly awesome retirement and all this security, or do I want to be 65 and be able to say that for the last 25 years I've been doing concept art and illustrations and this toy and have toys on my desk that I helped design or whatever, and I thought, that's absolutely what I want to be. When I'm sitting there, at the end of all my working days, I want to be able to look back at movies and comic book covers and cool toys and computer game creatures or whatever, and all that stuff that I did instead. I wouldn't take it back. I wouldn't take that choice back for anything. Not at all. I'm just the very, very beginning of my art career, the very beginning of it, and I already wouldn't trade anything. I wouldn't trade a single week of what I've done to get here for any of that. Absolutely not.
Wow, great. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story with me.
No, happy to.
Join me on Schoolism.com for art classes where you'll learn from known professional artists. Watch the lessons, do the assignments, hand in your assignment to the site, and in a few days you would receive a new video where you have your assignment on screen. Your teacher would then paint and draw on top of your assignment, designing their teaching towards your specific skill level. You can watch the videos on your own time. You can do the assignments on your own time. You have a due date. That's it. You have access to the videos 24/7, and the best thing of all is that you can ask the teacher any questions that you want. Also, you get to watch everybody else's video critiques as well, because they'll be asking all sorts of different questions that totally pertain to you. It's just that you never thought of asking. If you'd like to find out more, you can visit us at Schoolism.com and sign up for a class today.